Good moment, everybody. Welcome to day one of this 14-day following the energy, strengthening the trust in you. So this class, I'm just going to sort of chat. Hi, Tom. Chat a bit while I'm waiting for some of you to join live. The first thing I want to say is that every single time I jump on video, I'm going to fix my eyebrows. That's how that works. It used to be my hair, now it's my eyebrows. So you can trust that I will always start to fix my eyebrows when I get on video. The one thing I'm noticing is this one's thicker than this one, and I already want to fix it and get my eyebrow pencil. All right, now that we've got that out of the way. This class is going to continue to grow, We are going to have a lot of very last minute registrations, and it's got its own pull. So how does it get any better than that? Hi, Loretta. And I really want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. And I really want to thank those of you that took a minute just to email me back and tell me what you'd like to get out of this class. Because of course, there's a lot of requests, but there's a very, very, very similar energy. Hi, Brigitte. Hi, Jamie Joy. Jamie Joy, Christel. And I want to let you know right up front that at the end of this 14 days, there's a foundation class that's going to be online. And I'm probably going to be talking about it a lot and reminding you that that's a choice you have available, because foundation is one of the things that changed this topic for me more than anything. So I'm going to put that in your world now, just in case you didn't know. And you can go to my profile, accessconsciousness.com/Christel Crawford, and you can sign up for that there. But so day one. Now, my target for this 14 days was to myself follow the energy. I committed to this 14 days following the energy, having no agenda, no plan, no fixed result that I wanted to see out of this. And so when you, and what I want to say about that is that is actually the only way to live, to truly live, is to follow the energy and let it guide you into and dance with it so that you have information about what you can choose next. And thank you guys for plugging foundation. Those of you guys that have taken foundation with me are like, yes. So anyway, you guys can go read that stuff. So many of you want to know that you know, and that's really the purpose of this 2 weeks, is to talk about that, to give tools around that, but also to show you what that be like. And one of the things that Gary Douglas says about being a facilitator is that the great thing about being an access facilitator, hi Megan, is that you don't have to know anything and you don't have to be smart. You just have to be willing to show up, open your mouth, and let whatever's going to come out, come out. And that has contributed to me since the very first moment I saw it, and that's a lot of how I create my business. And then I have these times in my business where I do try to do more form and structure, and sometimes I have more success with that, and sometimes I have less success with that. And so what I wanted to create here was this space for us to explore what following the energy really is for us. And so this class wanted to be created, and I'm like, what do you want to be called? And it gave me its name. So that's one of the first things that I would love to invite you guys to start to practice. I cannot turn it up, actually, Jeanette. I wonder if you can turn yours up. Hi, Ruby. So one of the first things that I want to talk about today is how to tell the difference between light and heavy. And probably thing number 2 is getting out of preference and into choice, okay? So again, this will be an ADD romp through that, of course. So light and heavy, for a lot of people, gets solidified into a feeling. So a lot of people that I know try to solidify light and heavy into, like, it doesn't feel light, or it feels heavy. That is not what light and heavy is. Light and heavy is a tool to give you a sense of the space of what a choice will create. And that's why I combine light and heavy with getting out of preference into choice. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about what I mean by that. So Just 1 second. Somebody's trying to find the group here. We have a lot of people doing last minute today, so give me 2 seconds here. Okay, cool. Okay, so the difference between preference and awareness is this. I don't like this person, so it doesn't feel light for me to go to lunch with this person. Is that choice or preference? I wanted to go to that class, but it's just not feeling light. Is that choice or preference? It's different to function from preference than it is to function from what a choice creates. So a different way of doing that would be, if I choose this class, for example, I'm just using a class as an example, what will my life be like in 5 years? Or what will my life be like in 5 years if I don't choose this class? And getting a sense of the space or the no space that comes from what you can create with that choice. Because the thing is, like, all choices do is they just create stuff. So you are faced with the choice to create a class or not create a class. If you create the class, will it create more space or less space? More. Okay, great. If you don't create the class, will it create more space or less space? And that's it. And that's how to start. That's actually how to start getting a sense of what your choices create. Now, that's one way of following the energy. And that's a way that kind of requires a little bit more work. But when you're beginning to build this muscle of an awareness that only you have, that's a very, very, very required muscle to build. And I see that muscle is probably one of the hardest for people to build, is getting out of preference and into the awareness of what a choice creates. And for me, that realizing that I did more preference than I did awareness was a realization that I came to about 3 years ago when I was hanging out with my friend Stephanie Richardson a lot. And she would always ask, well, I don't know, if we choose that, what will it create? And she kept asking that, well, I don't know, if we choose that, what will it create? And I realized after she said it, I was like, I never asked that question. I just look at, does it feel this way or feel this way? Which had everything to do with my judgment of what would feel good and not feel good. And so this particular conversation is not something that you're going to get good at overnight. It just isn't. Because we are taught to function from preference. And then we get into access consciousness and we start to use light and heavy as a preference tool instead of as an awareness of what a choice creates tool. And so we try to solidify light and heavy into our body so that it feels light. So then we're justified in choosing what it is we're going to choose. So everywhere you're using light and heavy to justify your choices instead of as a tool to get an awareness of where you actually want to go, that you don't even know you want to go, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, so following the energy. So all of us are in this moment asking for whatever we're asking for. Maybe we're not asking consciously, but we're all asking for something. We are all tugging right now into our world something. And you can make that a more conscious journey. You can ask more directly for what it is you want to have as your life. That's why I did the Core Awareness Challenge from Gary Douglas, which is what would it take to be willing to live the energy of what I'd like my life to be, so that it can show up for me in totality and everything that I'm doing and all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions and no sex I'm using to absolutely refuse and reject my life and the energy I'd like my life to be. I destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Right, so that's why we do that, because we want to cultivate that sense of the energy you'd like your life to be so that you can follow it. So now in following it, what needs to be strengthened is two things. Your use of light and heavy, so that when you're facing choices, you can go, okay, well, if I choose this, does it create more space? Yes, okay, great. And that takes it out of feelings, emotions, thoughts, anything, and goes into, okay, this choice creates a greater future, I'm in, right? And the second thing is, I don't know what the second thing is. That's the only thing I can come up with right now. So I know there's so much around this topic that I want to talk about, and all of you guys sent in a lot of things, but part of the things you sent in were I can't tell the difference between my light and heavy, and I get confused. So the other thing I want to add to this conversation is that doubt is a distractor implant. It is designed to distract you from what? From that you know. You always know what a choice is going to create. You always know whether or not it's going to create more or less. And the thing that we do is we cut off that knowing. And doubt is designed to distract you from that you know. So how many distractor implants are you using to not know are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I'm going to go back and read some of your comments here. Wow, this is clearing a persistent fog. That's awesome. Hi, Christel. Sometimes I neither get the lightness or heaviness of the choice. What question can I ask? Whenever I can't get it, I know that I have already decided what I'm going to do. If you can't get a sense of a choice that creates more space or less space, there's a couple things going on. One, you've already decided what you're going to do. So in that case, I destroy and uncreate the decisions, judgments, computations, and conclusions that I've already come to about this, that I've already made, and all the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections that I've already come to and already made. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then I go back in and go, okay, first of all, am I willing to know? Am I willing to know which choice creates more for me? What choices create more? Am I willing to know? You may find in that asking of that question right there that you don't actually want to know. And this is really what I discovered. I just did a private session with a great lady, and we were asking some questions around a thing. And I finally had to ask her, I'm like, hey, do you actually want to have this awareness? Yes or no? And it was no. And that was why we couldn't get to any sense of it, because she actually didn't want to know. And that's the thing. It's like, we don't want to know. We don't want to have the awareness, because once you have an awareness, you can't unsee it, right? Like once you're aware that this and this and this is actually true, you can't unknow that. And that's why we hide things from ourselves, so that we don't have to know. We don't have to be responsible. We don't actually have to know. When you know, you are response-able. Okay, so everything that you've decided you don't want to know, everything you've decided you do want to know that you actually don't want to know, will you now unhide the fact that you don't want to know from yourself? Everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then Karen said, I try to use the light and heavy tool. I don't know what the VN is at the beginning of that. I try to use the light and heavy tool. I go into fear of making a wrong choice. Yeah. Fear is another distractor implant. It distracts you from being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving. So how many distractor implants are you using to not know are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many distractor implants are you using to not know are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All the distractor implants of fear and doubt that you're using to never be that you're choosing, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All the distractor implants of fear and doubt that you're using to never perceive that you're choosing, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many distractor implants are you using to never know are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many distractor implants are you using to never be? Be, know, perceive, and receive. To never receive are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And how much preference are you using to never be response-able are you choosing? Wow. And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How many distractor implants are you using to never be response-able are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so this may be one of those lives that you need to sort of put on a loop, because here's what's true. we always know what a choice is going to create. So in any one moment, we're all faced with like multiple choices multiple times of the day, right? Like choices to move our left foot, our right foot, choice to drink our coffee, not drink our coffee, choice to put our coffee on the table or throw it on the floor, choice to, do you see how I could just keep going and extrapolate on that? So we have all these choices in front of us. Choice to take a class, not take a class, choice to, etc., right? We're faced with all these choices. So we always know when a choice is going to create more. The thing we stop ourselves with is whatever unconsciousness we're using to not go outside of whatever's going to, let us out of this box we've created for ourselves. Like when I look and talk to people about choosing foundation is a great example. Like whatever, if you haven't taken foundation yet, or for whatever the reason is, what is it that you are aware that class will invite you to that you have not been willing to be, know, perceive, or receive? What is it you are aware this choice will invite you to over here that you are not yet willing to be, know, perceive, and receive? So that's where the trust in you, being willing to trust you, is where you get all of you. Because once you trust, you make a choice, it's not going to make linear sense, logical sense. You won't know how you're going to get there or how it's going to get accomplished, but you know that you need to make this choice. When you function from that, nobody can sway you from what it is you're going to create, and nobody can validate that you're right or you're wrong. So how much no choice are you using to avoid being wrong are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So sometimes when I start saying out loud what I want to create, I start doing the opposite. It's like a mechanism, and I have stopped talking about what I really want to do or create. I make progress towards creating it until I start to talk about it. What is that, and how can I change it? Well, I think you've already changed it. You just stopped talking about it. Just choose it. And just for you, just for fun. What is it? I wonder what occurs. I'm not claiming to be an expert here. I'm saying be a pragmatist. And Jeanette, I actually get that you're already being pragmatic about it, which is you're like, well, this occurs when I talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, cool. Great. Don't talk about it. Just choose it and don't tell anybody. And I have to do that more and more and more, like with stuff that I've got going on. I got a bunch of things going on right now that I'm not telling anybody about, including myself, really. I mean, I'm in them, but I'm like not going to conclusion about it. I'm not sharing about it. I'm not posting about it. It's not anybody's business but mine. And I get to see now what shows up, and I get to see what's available. And it's just for me, just for fun, never tell anyone. So you're already being pragmatic. Keep going, okay? All right, so I don't want to make these super huge and long. I mean, if they go long, I'm willing. But when you sign, Dane is so great. Dane just goes for hours, and I love him. And I really like to keep things neat and succinct if I can. So what I'd really, really, really like you guys to play with today, for some of you, it's the end of your day, so this may be for tomorrow morning, is that am I doing preference or am I doing choice? Would be a really, really great question to start asking yourself. Am I doing preference or am I doing choice? Am I doing preference here or am I doing choice? If you are, I'm not Dane, no. If you are, Tom, total download with that question. So great. Yeah. So that's it. I want you to ask yourself that question. Am I doing preference or am I doing choice? If you're doing preference, then go, okay, if I was doing choice here, what would I choose? That's it. Am I doing preference? Am I doing choice? And if I was doing choice here, what would I choose? Because here's the thing about following the energy. You're following energy. There's no roadmap for that. The only tool you have, your best tool, is awareness. It's not mysterious, it's not mystical, but it does require a different muscle being built. And I don't have a linear way to lead us into the development of this muscle because it doesn't have a linear way to develop it. But I will give you prompts that you can start to use to begin to develop and strengthen it. So am I doing preference or am I doing choice with this? I don't feel like this is preference or choice. So start asking that, start playing with like, okay, start noticing how you're using light and heavy. Are you making light and heavy into a feeling in your body? Cut that shit out. and go, what's the difference for me between sensing and feeling? That's another huge one. What's the difference for me between sensing light and sensing feeling? Because when you guys know something, and this is where you may have to start really looking at how, when you have those moments where you just know, how do you know? What's the sense in your world? Because that will show you that there are times that you know. You aren't just riddled with doubt 100% of the time. You do have those where like, oh, I just know I need to choose that. I just know I need to go here. So what's different about that than when you're doing doubt? And if you were functioning from that all the time, what would you have to strengthen in your world in order to have more of that? All right. Hey, Christine. So guys, if you haven't yet taken Foundation, I cannot emphasize enough how much that class contributes to this conversation. So consider that as well. Just look at that and go, you know, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? And of course, you're invited to mine. But that thing of, oh boy, I have so much to learn, sort of, yes. There's so much to practice because in this reality, we don't have this conversation. We're not shown this in school. We're shown how to judge. So we have a different practice of muscles and tools and skills here in order to access our inner guidance system, which is that, no, yes, yes, no, yes, okay. That inner thing that is the sensing of what a choice is going to create, okay? So this is day 1. Everything that doesn't allow you to have more allowance for yourself than you've ever had before, can we destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. And everything that doesn't allow you to just buckle up and strap in for the ride of change, will you destroy it and create all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. What do we say when we say, if I'm doing choice, what? I don't know what the rest of that question is, Miss Farida. If you're doing choice, cool. You're doing choice. Just choose it. See what it creates. Choice creates awareness. If you're doing preference, then you're doing judgment. That's all. So if you're doing preference instead of choice, then go, okay, well, if I was doing choice, then what would I choose? If I'm doing choice here, what would I choose? That's it. Because choice is fast and easy. Preference requires you to think, judge, conclude, decide, you know, weigh the pros and cons, doubt yourself, go into head tripping. Preference does all that. Choice is just like, okay, cool. What would I choose? Because you have a new choice in every 10 seconds. So it's not significant. A choice is not significant. You can change it in the next 10 seconds. You can change this in the next 10 seconds. You can change your mind in the next 10 seconds. What would I choose? And then play with it like that, okay? Ah, cool. Okay, good. Okay, good. So I know that's a lot. And so I'm gonna shut up so that we can have a new fire hose tomorrow, okay? So we're gonna meet every day, same time here, for 2 weeks. I encourage you to be live just because it creates so much when you're here and your comments just add to the conversation. And so thank you for that. And always you'll have the replays, so you'll have them available here in the group and also in your library on my website. So you'll get an email that states just that. And I adore you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.